to the cloud. So yeah, Jess and I are here for, if you're an East Coaster, it is a late Truth Bomb Tuesday, but better late than never. If you're a West Coaster, you are probably just sitting down to eat or whatever, or do whatever, whatever they do out there on the West Coast,
I don't
right?
know what West Coast people do at this time.
Whatever they do. So our truth bomb is like, we're kind of going back and forth on this, and we just kind of came out with it. You reap what you sow. So the story of your life is really what's occurring now in your life was based on some consistent actions that you have done the last 6 months. So whatever these compounding actions that you've been doing have been occurring. So it's, and we're getting biblical here. Who thought on a Truth Bomb Tuesday we're getting biblical? We're calling it you reap what you sow. What do you think of that, Jess?
Right. So here's the absolute truth of that is you do reap what you sow. And what it makes me think of is when you're looking around at your current life and you're like, my life sucks. My friends are jerks. I'm too fat. I'm tired all the time. I don't have good relationships with my kids. My marriage is in shambles. My finances are terrible. I hate my job. Guess what? That's a result of everything that you have been doing. You are reaping the results of all of those actions you have or have not been taking over the last 6 months to a year of your life. And so if your life sucks right now, take an opportunity to look back at what you've been sowing, because right now you are reaping the benefits. If you want the kind of life where you are happier, where you are healthier, where you have better relationships, where your finances are better, right? Then take a look at the people who are successful in doing those things and do what they do. Sow what they sow so that you may reap what they reap, because it's the consistent sowing that's going to get you a result. So if you've got a result that's totally suck bucket right now, it's because you've been sowing in the suck bucket. Stop that.
You've been totally sowing in the suck bucket. One of the things too is like, man, you just went right for the jugular. I love it. You totally.
I know. I can't help it. I'm so fired up.
Your life sucks. I have to be honest. There's been some times that my life sucked. And I was just like, you're in your head and you're like, oh, and you go on this mental treadmill like, oh, my life sucks. My life sucks. And then what does it take to where you're finally like, I've had enough, And the funny thing about it is, I think when we're in that spot, we forget, and we talk about this with our clients, that we have at any point in our life the ability to choose. Yep. And I think, and I was caught in this, the truth bomb of it is like, I'm stuck. I'm in a bad relationship. I feel like crap. I'm going nowhere. And what was I doing about it? I was sitting my butt in front of my ass in front of Netflix, binge watching something, wishing I was Jason Bourne, but not out there doing anything. You know what I mean?
God, how is that working out for you?
I got a quick relief because I pretended my life was better than it was.
Right. You're in there in your skivvies pretending to be Jason Bourne. Good work. You're still not Jason Bourne, by the way.
Still not Jason. And
I don't think you're doing what he's doing to get that result.
So here's a truth bomb, which is cool. A good truth bomb is like, I do mixed martial arts now and I'm doing crap. So my goal of being Jason Bourne, I'm taking an action about it. And maybe in 4 years I'll be able to do something and maybe I won't get my ass kicked.
Maybe that's some good work. I love it. But here's the point is you recognized that you were in the suck bucket, number one. You chose to have the awareness that you were in the suck bucket and doing nothing about it. And you decided to do something different and you backed up that decision with action, right? So I came across this great quote. I put it on my Facebook page today. It says, everything you desire is waiting for you on the other side of consistency. Okay? Think about that. What are you doing consistently from the moment you wake up to the moment that you go to bed that is creating the result that you have. And this one, for me too, this truth bomb hit me square in the face because my life was kind of in the suck bucket. Like I was in way more debt than I could possibly handle. And I seem to have this like, I don't know how I got there. And I don't know how to fix it now because I feel totally and completely overwhelmed. Well, take a look at my last 6 months. I'd been paying minimums on my credit cards. I had done nothing to increase my income. I had done nothing to create extra income. And I had done nothing to get out of the debt because I didn't really know what to do. So I reached out for help, and that's when I understood my spending habits, my income habits, what I was doing consistently over the last 2-3 years of my life led me to where I was. And if I had continued down that road, guess what? I would have just been digging deeper into the suck bucket when it comes to finances. So I had to make a choice and back it up with action to do things differently. And that's exactly what we're talking about.
I love what you said. The one word that stood out is action. Okay. So there, and we've talked about this on prior Truth Bomb Tuesdays, is you can't feel your way out of taking action. You can't wait to feel better to take action. So the way to feel better is act your way into feeling better consistently. And in the first week might suck. It still might suck for a couple weeks, but you gotta keep going. And I recommend, getting a coach, helping you to see the blind spot on what you're not quite seeing. You know what I mean? Reach out to one of us. We'll be more than happy to help guide you, and we'll be a little bit kinder, maybe.
I mean, it depends. If you've got thicker skin and you can take ownership of the suck bucket, then let's talk suck bucket.
Let's talk suck bucket. If you need a little
love first, I can tap into that. I got that side, believe me.
Well, here's the thing, right? They say it in 12-step groups, right? Is you have to say, hey, you have to admit it. And so, hey, if you could sit there, and I've had to say this, I suck. My life is kind of suck bucketing. I like suck bucket. Hashtag suck bucket today. I'm
gonna give a shout out to Chris Lockhead for that one. He's the one who introduced me to the suck bucket, and that's when my finances sucked. I was like, oh, well, I've been slumming in the suck bucket when it comes to finances. No wonder they're a mess.
I know. And, and I'm sure there's an area, there's a couple, in my life, I'm looking hey, is there a little bit of a suck bucket? Is it a big suck bucket? Is it a little suck bucket? Let's talk about levels of suck bucket here, So it's owning that you suck. That's the only way you could do something about it, is to admit it, right? That's what they say, right? Hey, my name's Todd, and I'm in a suck bucket.
Hi, Todd.
Totally.
Yeah, so for real. And you guys, we come to you with these truth bombs, and we go straight for the jugular because guess what? Somebody cared enough about us to tell us to get off our ass, stop watching Netflix, and start being Jason Bourne if you want to be freaking Jason Bourne, right? Uh-huh. Somebody cared enough about us to hold space for us to admit that we were sucking and to help link elbows with us to dig our way out of that suck bucket. And so that's why we can come to you from a place of I totally get it. I've sucked at more than one thing in my lifetime, and I've had support in fixing that and taking action and making that decision. And just know that we love you so much. We love you enough to speak authentically and to go straight for the jugular because we want you to get out of the suck bucket. I'm sorry, you have way more potential than that. And actually, I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. I want you to come out of the suck bucket with me because it's way better out here.
It so is. And you're right. We, listen, I call my coach and I'm like, man, I need my, my head's in the suck bucket and sometimes in a day you get a head in the suck bucket, right? And then you're like, let me pull my head out of the suck bucket, right? I used to say my head was up my rear end, But, you know, that was the thing. You know, I needed somebody to help, you know, kind of support me, you know, just, you know, and somebody to guide me. There were some things I might not have been seeing or willing to look at, to be honest with you, you know. And there, you know, there's less suck bucket days in my life. I'm not perfect by any stretch, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of things I learned when I was sitting, pretending I was Jason Bourne in my head, sitting in front of Netflix. And by the way, I've dropped my Netflix usage down significantly. And this is the reaping what we sow, and consistently, right? So the other thing real quick is what are the things that are, you know, what are the excuses? And we did a couple Truth Bomb Tuesdays about this, that holds you in the suck bucket. I'm busy. I can't do this. You know, the list goes on. What do you think, Jess?
It's so true. It's so true. And, you know, you can go back and listen to all our excuses on Truth Bomb Tuesday and the stories you tell yourself. And just know, like, here's how we're going to leave this. Here's my challenge to you. My challenge to you is take a look around you. Take a look at your life. Take a look at your physical health, your mental, emotional health, your relationships, your finances, your level of satisfaction with your life. And be honest. Be honest with yourself. Are you really where you want to be? Or are you slumming in the suck bucket? And if you are slumming in the suck bucket and you don't want to be there, then make a decision, map out some actions, and get to work doing those things every single day. Because I guarantee you that your life 6 months to a year from now, if you start sowing different seeds, you will start reaping different results. And if that's what you want, get to work. That's the only way to get it done.
Yeah. And here's a good litmus test too. Have you ever gone on a vacation, right? And it took like 3 days for you to like get back to yourself, like really feel yourself. And then all these dreams had come out of you, like by the end of it, like, oh my God, I really need to do this or do that. And you almost forgot them, but it took you halfway through a vacation to decharge, disconnect, to really see. Have you ever had that experience, Jess?
Totally. Totally. I was like, man, I don't want to go back to my real life because it sucks.
And realize that you could have that, and you could make steps towards it. And so we're here to help support you. Jess, any final words on Truth Bomb Tuesday?
Oh my gosh. Come back and see us next week because we got another good one tucked in our pockets.
Oh, yeah. And this is Suck Buckets signing out. All right. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.